Yarana, my friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about my wetsuits. As you could see in my social media over the last days, you saw the release of them. And today we're gonna go deeper in every details. We're gonna talk about a little bit about this big project that I did and how we arrived to this final product. And so it's going to be a little long video because there is a lot to talk about it, so just relax and enjoy. So the project is born because I really wanted to make something different, and of course as a craftsman I always try to do something that is completely new, but in wetsuits it was pretty hard because the materials and the makers of the wetsuits are so used for years to make the same things. So the most important thing that I really wanted to do at least was to take every single good details that in my history of spearfishing I found in all the wetsuits that I always had, you know. So I never had the perfect wetsuit per se. There was always some issues with one, with another. Some of them were too tough but super warm. Others were super elastic and you know, flexible, but then it was too cold. Others were super cool looking, but then there was a disaster in terms of stitching and gluing. And so I really wanted to bring all the good aspects of every wetsuit that I really had and add a little bit of my touch to make sure that we got to this product that I cannot call, of course, perfect, because perfection doesn't exist, but we tried to go as best as we can. So of course I really would like you to subscribe to my channel and comment here if you have any ideas or something that will help me for the future to make them even better. So the first thing I really would like to talk to you about is colors, of course. You know, this is one of the things that everybody wants to know about it, because there are different schools in spearfishing. Some of them are very into camouflage, others are not really, but to me camouflage is pretty important, and I really wanted to find something that could actually be good looking and in the same time helpful for what is the camouflage purpose, right? So that's why I came out with these two different models, the reef one and the blue water that I like to call the human flesher blue water wetsuit, right? So we, and when I say we, I really have to say that this is a project that comes from the family. It had been done by me, my wife, and my son. My son, 13 years old, starts to be pretty good with iPads and you know, drawing. So we really developed this thing together. It's actually a very prideful moment for me, because my son Kai actually helped a lot into the release of this project. So what I wanted was to bring to the whole world the natural, beautiful pattern of the Napoleon wrasse, which is to me one of the kings, the emperors of the reef, with his stunning size and beautiful fish and beautiful colors as well. And most of it is huge, crazy labyrinth type of pattern that has in all his mouth and all his head, you know. So of course we really had to change a little bit the colors, so we remained in the same color scheme, but we made them more fleshy for the blue water and a little bit darker for the reef one to increase the mimetic, the camouflage side of it. So the reef one, as we can see, I decided to leave this dark blue as the background of it. It's kind of a greenish fuel type of blue, very dark, and this helps in the drop. So it's very hard to view even from the bottom and from of course the sides. And then so the pattern, instead of being very orangish, I tried to make it more green, brown, and this light blue, so it goes very good with our tropical waters, of course, the coral reef, especially the deeper one, but could also be pretty good in kelps areas. So I'm thinking about North America, I'm thinking about Atlantic Ocean, but I'm also thinking about what in Mediterranean is called the grotto or the Poseidonia big fields, right? Underwater, so very green and brown. So I really like to stay darker, so to increase the camouflage. In this side of colors, we are super flashy. And why is that? That's a little bit of a bet that we took between me and my team rider, Ben, from Guadeloupe. The guy is 30 years plus spearfishing in blue water. And one day I remember I was talking to him and said, like, I'm doing these wetsuits and I want to do something for blue water and something for reef fishing. And so I really would like your opinion about it. And he said, listen, and I was still into those bluish, gray bluish camouflage still, you know, to have camouflage even in blue water. And he said, well, honestly, if I had to make mine, I would put glitter in it. And because all the pelagics, I can see that they are attracted for everything, that are flashing, and everything I can do to make them approach, I would do it. I don't think that camouflage is a good idea when it comes from blue water. I really want it to be very visible and to attract the fish, the tunas, the marlin. I really want them to come close to me. And because that's a little bit of the issue that we have in blue water. Sometimes we really need these huge guns with huge range, because the fish doesn't really approach. You know, when we are attractive in somehow, this should come closer. So same pattern, the Napoleon wrasse is going to help us as well with this crazy design, but we added, of course, fluo yellow, fluo orange. The blue became very flashy, very light blue, so the blue of our ocean, right? So this is the colors. And now we're gonna go more into the details of the wetsuit itself, and so we can describe a little bit how it's done. They are exactly the same, the way they are stitched, glued, and all the features. So we're gonna go with just one of them. So we're gonna start with the pants, and the pants are kind of high waist type of pants. I don't really wanted to make the long john, and I didn't really also to have this high waist, and the reason is that I think that are not very good when you want to free dive, and the reason is that having too many layers on the belly impedes a little bit the breathing, so it doesn't really help you to spread the diaphragm and the lower part of the breathing. That is actually very helpful when we have to make this long free diving time. But of course, to give more warmth to the wetsuit, one of the easiest way to make sure that the wetsuit is warm is to not allow the water to get in. And this is why in each open seam, so where we have the ankles, the waist, but also the wrist and the hoodie, I used this skin neoprene all around, and this is totally waterproof, and it's also a nice way to finish the wetsuit. Because many of them arrive just with a cut neoprene, and that's a big problem here for the stitches. So this is a very tough, and also doesn't allow at all to for the water to get in. In the pants, we remain in the pants. The second feature, we have this nice pocket that could be used for an extra knife. For example, one of these knives like this could be put in. Fits perfectly, or this is something that I also did because I am a hunter-gatherer, so every time I go spearfishing, I always find something. I feel that the ocean, our ocean, are treasures, and sometimes it could be a shell, it could be something you want to bring home for the kids, you know, it could be a, you know, something that you wanna put. Sometimes I put the piece of rubber that I put on top of my shafts. I always forget them, of course, and I don't want to throw them in the ocean. So having a pocket is always useful. The other feature of these pants is these big knee pads that are made out of this neoprene covered with Kevlar. So Kevlar fabric, super hard, no cut. These are very important for every time you wanna, sit on the reef, or even when you move around in the boat. They are very good. And the same type of material we use it for this very, very thick chest pad. This is another thing that I really insisted into it. I really wanted to be big in terms of size. So we have pretty much 25 centimeters high of this chest pad, because this is where most of the people load their guns. In the tropics, in French Polynesia, we used to load our guns a lot, and I found that in many wetsuit, these chest pads were always too thin or not tough enough. And in my work, especially when I have to test 20 guns at the time, I always come out with bruised chest, and I really wanted to make it thick, big and tough. So Kevlar double skin is going to be a good 7mm pad. This is going to be very strong for you to load even the biggest and the most powerful guns. Let's go into the jacket. So neoprene Yamamoto 39, pretty much I would say the best in the market for what is the balance between price, of course, and technical and specifics. There were, of course, higher level neoprene in terms of resistance to compression and elasticity. Neoprene like Yamamoto 45 could have been probably better than 39, but number one was very hard to find. So the minimum order quantity to make a series of wetsuits were huge, and I couldn't really afford them. We are a big, we're a very small, company. So maybe one day we're gonna make it. But also true, the wetsuits, it's also so the neoprene is very expensive as well. So the whole product at the end would have been very expensive. And in a way, I really believe that wetsuits are something that you wanted to use in a heavy duty way. So it's okay if you scratch them, you break them, at some point you have to change them. So you don't really want to spend $700 every time you have to replace a wetsuit. So I really think that it's important to have this good balance between the price and the quality. The Yamamoto 39 is known for its crazy elasticity, flexibility. So that's also very good for the wetsuit cut, because it makes it very adaptable to every type of body type. So for people that has extra kilos like me on the waist, you don't really feel to be too compressed in these areas. So as we said, the neoprene 39, and it's covered with this external lining of it's called 4D super stretch polyester. Is a tissue that is a fabric that is made in a way that it can stretch in every direction, so can really be stretched to adapt to every body type again. And inside we have the open cell neoprene everywhere inside, but on the waist part, the open cell is the best material you can have when you really want the wetsuit to fit you perfectly and don't let the water pass. It is very good for keep you warm, and really attaches to you like a vacuum pump. And so all around the waist here I use the double lining. That is a feature that I really wanted for my wetsuit, because many of my clients like to go for lobsters and they usually put them underneath. This is also the place, the area of the wetsuit that we use when we want to adjust it or pull it out, and that's where we make the most of the breaks in our neoprene. So I really wanted this area to be very tough and do not break. For the beaver tail, I chose the Velcro system, the scratch system. I like it a lot, and people are asking if it endures over time. Yeah, this is a premium quality Velcro. It's very hard to stretch in and out, and they're double-sided, so it's adjustable. This is another feature that I really like to put, because I always had problems, you know, we the men have problem with our jewels. When it's time to put the beaver tail, they always squish on the side, and with the actually with the Velcro adjustable beaver tail, you can really fit them perfectly where you want them, right? So again, another feature, and I really always had problem with these plastic buttons. They always get stuck into my weight belt. Because they are usually attached to the wetsuit with a screw, there's a hole, and when you pull too much, sometimes that's a breaking point of your wetsuit, so it becomes more fragile. While with the Velcro, you don't have at all this problem. The wetsuit is gonna have a longer life. Another feature of the jacket, of course, we put this whistle on the side. This is something that I saw in some new brands of wetsuit. I found it very useful. The reason is because when you are at sea and you wanted to call your boat and you want, or somehow, let's say shit happened, whistle is very important because makes a big noise and doesn't tire you when you instead are trying to yell. Yelling, it's a very takes a lot of energy out of your body, and when you are in a distress, you really want to keep the energy as much as you can. The whistle can be heard from very far, and it's very visible with this fluo yellow thing, so in case you have a partner that wants to help you, knows where to find it. So logos. Logos are printed in a way that it just cannot go away. I have my prototype one for months now, and it didn't move at all. This is something that I really like. I didn't really like in some wetsuits that I got. I bought them, and after 3 or 5 use, the logo was completely gone. I mean, doesn't really change, but for me as a company, it's important, of course, to show my logo all around. People have to recognize who's making this wetsuit, right? So joints on front, we have the Polynesian flag logo here, which talks about the Va'a, so the canoe, the outrigger that brought the Polynesian people around the Pacific Ocean. These are the 5 archipelagos of French Polynesia: the Marquesas, the Society Islands, the Australs, the Gambia, and the Tuamotus. And so that's a little bit of a pride because this has been designed and in Tahiti with my son that is half Tahitian. So yeah, that was a little bit of sign of thanks to the Polynesian that greet me and let me grow up here in French Polynesia and make myself, you know, and put my family, install myself here for good. On the back we have this Joints logo. We all know it now, the swordfish with the flopper, and I wanted to make it very big because this is a very important feature when you guys are fishing with your friends. Sometimes the water can be murky. We tend to spearfish deeper and deeper, especially here in French Polynesia, and it's important to be seen from above. So a white logo like this will stand out and will be totally visible from above. This is a very important feature that people tend to not put in place, but for safety reasons, having a big white logo on the back helps a lot. So I think I went through most of, no, there's another thing. Every stitches has been made with a little drop of glue at all ends. At all ends of the seams there is a little glue. This prevents from the stitching to pull out, and when you pull the line you will just completely take it off. So this is a very important feature that I really wanted, and I expressively asked to the manufacturer, I want a drop of glue in every end of the seams. And again, this is something that I learned through the wetsuit that I already had in my life. Again, the whole idea is to put together all the good parts of every wetsuit that I had. I worked a lot with my team riders like Oliver, Ben, Francesco, and other people all around French Polynesia, in Mediterranean. So I really asked a lot, what is the best thing that you want in a wetsuit to all these people, and they came back with little details. Of course, couldn't be everything, but we pretty much put everything together to give you this product. So guys, we have them in 3, 5 and 7 millimeter thickness. The size is from the extra small to the triple extra large, so all the span. It's just time for you to order yours, and as always guys, leave a comment, subscribe the channel, tell a friend that we exist, and enjoy it.